What's up everybody, and welcome to a very special video. Today I wanted to talk about the 10 scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. So the idea is simple. You're trying to find a horror movie to watch. You click on this video, you see a couple suggestions, you hear one that you haven't heard of before, you pop it on tonight and you might be surprised. Now I also want to mention these are not all my favorite horror movies. I am going to be excluding movies like The Shining or Heretic, which I do think are some of my favorite horror movies out there, but they didn't necessarily scare me that much. I just admire the writing of those movies. So I am specifically talking about the scariest horror movies that kept me up late at night. So let me give you an example. Unfriended Dark Web. This is actually a sequel to a movie called Unfriended, which I'm not so much of a fan of, but the second one is spectacular. I saw this in university at the peak of my dark web interest when I was just super scared of the dark web. I was watching, YouTube videos that would do like animated scary stories about the dark web, and so I was obsessed with the dark web. And if you are too and that shit scares you, this movie's for you, because oh my gosh, it is a roller coaster ride from start to finish. And it is also completely shot on a laptop camera using webcams and stuff, so it is ultra immersive. I think it's a very creative idea, and they execute it phenomenally. So that's my honorable mention, and that's the format I'm gonna keep it in. I'm gonna keep it super vague, and I'm just gonna go briefly over the synopsis and give you one or two things that I like about the movie, but certainly I won't spoil it. So starting off at number 1, we got Hostel. I also saw this movie in college, and god damn, this movie is not for the faint of heart. If you don't like torture, then stay away from this, because this is exactly what the movie's about. It's just people in these locked up rooms getting surgically tortured by these psychotic madmen. The story revolves around these 3 friends. 2 of them, I believe, are American tourists, and they're going to Eastern Europe, and they fall victim to this like millionaire cult club where they pay to torture people, and it is brutal. This is the movie that put Eli Roth on the map. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, like I said, if you don't like torture, stay away from this. But if you are a Eli Roth fan, this is what put him on the map. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Number 9 is gonna be The Ring. This is one of my favorite Japanese horror movies. I put it above The Grudge. I put it above Dark Waters, above Audition. For me, this is the best that Japanese horror has to offer. And I am talking about the American remake. The original is good too, but let's be honest, the remake is better. It's got Naomi Watts, who's super hot. You got your classic 2000s effects, the classic 2000s color grading. I mean, it's just such a vibe, and it's a good movie. And to this day, when I was growing up, there's a scene in the movie that scared the bejesus out of me, and I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. That scene just was creepy as all hell. I even got the book right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a fantastic film. Overall, it's just a good, solid horror movie that you can put on a rainy day, especially on a rainy day. It's a good one. Number 8 is gonna be VHS 94, the 4th installment in the VHS franchise. This movie is, talk about a roller coaster, because it is an anthology. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much just a movie that has multiple segments wrapped around with the story that loosely connects them. But the point is, it's not just one main narrative, and I think that works for its advantage, because if you don't like one thing, wait 10-15 minutes, you're gonna get something completely different. And as someone who loves monsters and creature features, I feel like this movie specifically has a heavy emphasis and focus on monsters. There's like 2 or 3 segments in here where you're gonna get some great monster action horror, and man, I just want to say so much more. I want to say so much, but it's a great movie. If you like anthologies and found footage, and you're not so much worried about the story, you just want some shock value and some entertainment, man, these are for you. Number 7 is going to be The Thing. I had to include one of the all-time classics in this. I could not include it, but it is still scary in my opinion. I think that the practical effects still hold up. The monsters are super creepy, and furthermore, it's really the concept that's really terrifying, because it really dives into cosmic horror, like H.P. Lovecraft type stuff. It is really terrifying once you understand what they're dealing with and the plausible threat that it poses to humanity. Yeah, it's like that big of a scale. It's an older movie, but man, it holds up. The Thing, man, it's got to be in the top 10. It's still a good scary movie. But it's about these researchers in Antarctica who are completely isolated that run into some very mysterious things, and I'll just leave it at that. Number 6 is The Exorcist, another classic that I had to include on this list because it still holds up, bro. I saw this movie growing up and it scared the living hell out of me, and I saw it recently in theaters again as a re-release, and it holds up, guys. It holds up. They don't call it the greatest horror movie of all time for no reason. It is one of the greatest horror movies of all time, certainly the best religious horror I've ever seen. So well written and so well acted, and the effects, the makeup effects on this girl are still some of the creepiest photographic images you're gonna find on the internet, bro. Like, it's funny to think that, like, yeah, we have The Nun and all that, Valak, but man, the original Exorcist girl is still creepy to this day. Number 5, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is also another very old movie, but man, does it deliver on scaring the audience. It does not hold back. This movie is raw and dirty, and it just feels like a found footage film, even though it's not a found footage film, just because it's so real. It feels real, like you're with these kids, and I think it's because of the grainy old footage that only adds to the atmosphere. If you've seen the 2003 remake, it's a great film, but I implore you, if you haven't seen the original, check out the original because it's a totally different vibe, and I think it's scarier. These friends on a road trip end up coming across a very weird family in the middle of nowhere, and Leatherface, I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, we all know that he wears the skin of his victims as a mask, which is truly grotesque, and there's just some very eerie music and sounds, scenes where, like, the ending of this movie is one of the greatest endings ever. I won't spoil that, but man, there's scenes where, like, you see true panic and terror in these people's eyes. And to this day, it's still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, even though it's from like the 70s, I think. Numero 4, VHS, the first one. Yes, baby. Dude, this movie to this day is the only movie that has a scene in it that made me run out of the room. That's not hyperbole. That's not exaggerating. That happened. And I guess I'm spoiling it, but it is in the thumbnail, so I already spoiled it. But the scene with this lady, this demon lady, bro, I ran out of the room, and my friend that I was watching it with paused the movie in this exact still frame, this exact moment. So when I came back in the room, I'm peeking and I'm like, oh no. This movie to me is what started my love for anthologies. I love anthologies. Now, this is not the first anthologies. There's been many anthologies before this, but I believe this movie took anthologies to the next level. I really believe that. It is so gruesome and intense, and there's some great horror shorts, and the format is fantastic. I gotta put it as one of the movies that scared me the most watching in my lifetime, for sure. Number 3 is gonna be Insidious. This is the first horror movie I ever saw in my life, and goddamn did it work, because I could not sleep for an entire year without the lights off. This is probably, in my opinion, the best paranormal, supernatural horror movie out there. A lot of people would give that crown to The Conjuring, which is a great movie, but for me it's Insidious, which by the way are made by the same people, James Wan. But Insidious has just some of the best jump scares ever made, and a lot of people hate on jump scares, and I get it. It's cheap, it's lazy, it's been overused, but when jump scares are done right and effectively, man, they can be some of the best horror that you consume. And I think this movie has the greatest jump scare of all time with the red-faced demon, and then a bunch of others. If you want a fun time with a bunch of jump scares that are gonna leave an impact, this is the movie. This is the movie, and a great ending, I might add. Fantastic ending. Number 2, we gotta pay respect to the Blair Witch Project, baby. Oh my god, this movie, I will admit, is a hit or miss for a lot of people because it did not age so well like the other movies I'm talking about. Texas Chainsaw ages like a fine wine. This movie, not so much. You really have to be able to put yourself into the shoes of the characters and also into the time period that it came out. Reason being is that they really marketed as this movie to be real, so like people actually believe like we just found this tape and we're just looking at it, what happened, and we have no idea what happened to these poor kids. That, if you can put yourself in those shoes and in that time era, you're gonna enjoy the out of this movie because it is 1000% one of the scariest experiences I've ever seen on the screen. It is so scary. But if you like soundtracks, not for you. If you don't like found footage, not for you. If you have a hard time putting yourself back in the time period that it came out with, not for you. Like, you really have to appreciate this movie for what it is. But if you can, oh my god, I'm telling you, It is horrific. And for number one, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but you know what? I don't care. I already put my classics, all right? There are classics, but I don't need to put something at number one because it's been out for 30, 40 years and everybody recognizes it. It is something recent, but it impacted me. And you know what? Recency bias is a real thing. But Terrifier 2, what's up, bitches? That shit scared me. I went to the movie theaters to see Terrifier 2, had no idea what I was getting myself into, and by Lord, holy I was not ready for the experience Damien got for me. But what I love about the second one over the third and first one, I just like the fantastical elements of the movie. I like the nostalgic 80s vibe that it has, and just Art himself is terrifying. He is so creepy and so scary looking. I can literally just look at a picture of him and be scared. So I think for me, he's my Freddy Krueger, he's my Michael Myers, he's my Jason. He scares me more than any of those slashers. Art the Clown is just the embodiment of evil for me, and I would never want to catch myself in a dark alleyway with that dude. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about the story. The story is not the best aspect of the movie, but it's just a killer clown that's on the loose. But he is supernatural in this movie. He is like a Michael Myers, where he's more than a human type being. But this movie has some of the best kill scenes you're gonna see. It also has some fantastic acting by David Howard Thornton, and like I said, it's just an experience. It's a magical, colorful experience. It really is. It's so funny that it's so gruesome, but at the same time, it's so flamboyant and magical and like almost fun to watch. Like, it's weird to describe, but I highly recommend this movie. You probably have seen it by now. But my boy Art is number one for me at this moment. You know, number one and number two often switch, Blair Witch Project and Terrifier, but man, Terrifier 2 it is. I'm gonna end with that one being my number one. So those are the 10 scariest movies I've seen in my life. I'm very curious to hear your guys' scariest movies. Comment them down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Deuces.